Okay, the pair I want to analyze right now is gold, XAUUSD. Um, we want to see what kind of trading opportunities lies ahead of us in these markets and how we can be capitalizing on these potential opportunities lying ahead of us. And on that note, I say welcome traders. As usual, I'll try and keep this webinar as educational as possible. But before we go into this, first of all, there is disclaimer explaining that trading foreign exchange and the global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor, and this webinar is for educational purposes only. Straight into the charts, and what we can see here clearly is that the market has made this nice impulse to the downside. Now, generally speaking, after an impulse, what you do expect is a correction before a possible continuation to the downside. So from here, we can see clearly that the market has broken this previous structure that we have here. This area acted as a support, now broken to the downside, which price can easily be attracted to for a retracement before a possible continuation to the downside. So from the monthly perspective, everything seems very clear. We do expect a possible retracement to the upside before another rally to the downside. So from monthly perspective, everything is clear. Going down into the weekly time frame, what do we have now? From a weekly perspective, we can see from here that the price has already started making has started creating bullish candles. Now, after an impulse, if you want to measure the correction, what you can do is to take your Fibonacci from the high of the impulse to the low of this impulse. And what we can see here is that the market, we do have a perfect 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level aligning with the previous support now, which has now become a resistance level. So we do expect at some point in time that price could make its way back to the 382 Fibonacci retracement level, like we had around this area before another continuation to the downside. So from a weekly perspective also, we can see that we do expect price to make its way towards this broken support now turns resistance here. Going down into the daily time frame, what do we see now? From a daily perspective, we can see here that price has just made this Elliott wave 5 impulsive pattern, and the last impulse here is already overextended. Now, generally speaking, after a 5 wave pattern like this, we do expect some kind of correction to the upside. So from the monthly, weekly, and daily perspective, everything is already aligning for a possible correction to the upside before another impulse to the downside again. So one more thing to note here, we can see that clearly that we have a structure here. This area here acted as a strong supply area, so this area is actually a strong resistance area, which first of all we expect price to break to the upside and then possibly retesting that area. Also, one more thing we can note here is that price has just made this nice impulse to the upside from here. Sorry, excuse me. We can see that price has made this nice impulse and correction to the downside. So generally speaking, as we know, after an impulse and a correction, what you do expect is another impulse to the upside. So monthly, weekly, and daily, we can see clearly the direction of the market, and we can see from here that we do expect some kind of longing opportunities here. So how can we be capitalizing on these potential longing opportunities that we do have on the XAUUSD time frame? Now from a 4-hour perspective, what we will be doing is monitoring price action. Why 4 hours? Because the monthly, weekly, and daily time frame is better off when it comes to the direction of the market. But when it comes to confirmation and entries, the better time frame will be the intraday time frame. So from here right now, we'll be monitoring price to see if it will break out of this resistance level here. Now if we do get that break out of this area and a retest of this broken area, which should now turn support, on the retest, this is where we will now be monitoring price action to see if candles will move, or if the markets will move from a bearish situation as we would have when it's making its way back to the broken resistance level to a bullish situation. So if price will move from bearish to bullish, inside of this area is where we would now be taking our trades for a possible impulse back to the retest of this zone here, which we identified as the 382 Fibonacci level from our higher time frames, the weekly and the monthly time frames. All right guys, this is the situation on the XAUUSD pair. If you do have any comments, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you in my next update. Cheers.